It's John Beaudin from Rock History Music and some sad news from the world of rock and roll. We've been sort of off the hook for a little while now, not losing a lot of members of the great Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in this case, just gentleman was a part of that. Founding member of the Doobie Brothers, John Hartman, has died. He was 72 years old. He was there for all the hits in the 70s. Listen to the music, China Grove, Last Train Runnin', What a Fool Believes, and of course, I'm just mentioning just a few of them because there were many. The current Doobie Brothers lineup, Tom Johnston, Patrick Simmons, announced to death. They called him Little John, by the way. Let me hold on. Let me pull in my microphone here. Just give me a second. I'm going to make sure I have my mic plugged in because it sounds too echoey when I don't. There, we should be good. There we go. Anyway, they called him Little John. On their official social media, they said John was a wild spirit, a great drummer and showman. He was always also a close friend for many years and an integral part of the band's personality. Hartman was from Fall Church, Virginia. He left the band after their biggest album, Minute by Minute, in 1979, but came back when Tom Johnston, the original singer, came back after the Michael McDonald stint, after the band actually broke up. They had their farewell tour. So he came back in 89 with the Cycles album. He, as mentioned, was a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We don't have a lot of circumstances or information on his death, even though Patrick Simmons and Tom Johnston wrote most of the songs, and of course Michael McDonald when he was there for the Doobie Brothers. John Hartman did write some. Here's just two, for instance. 74's Road Angel, From What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits, and from Taking It to the Streets, Wheels of Fortune in 1976. Now let's get to some of the albums. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the great things that he was involved in. When you think about it, and we'll get to this in a second, all the Doobie Brothers that played, all the drummers that played on their songs in the 70s, they're all gone. Cornelius Bumpus has died, the sax player who came back a one step closer. But we're going to get to what happened to them in just a second here. Here we go. The first Doobie Brothers album, 1971, wasn't really a hit. I think a lot of my friends in the 70s thought by the time Toulouse Street came out that was their first album, but it wasn't. 1972, Toulouse Street hit number 21 on the Billboard charts. And at that point, they went from a sole drummer from the first album with John Hartman to Michael Hosack and John Hartman. And that maintained for quite a few years. On the second album, Toulouse Street, we had Listen to the Music, Jesus Is Just All Right. And then, of course, The Captain and Me, 1973, went to number 7. So again, it was John Hartman, Michael Hosack. Long Train Runnin' was on that album, China Grove, and Natural Thing. Remember Natural Thing was the first song on the album, and it sounded like a hit. That was amazing. I mean, talk about the quintessential song that sounds like trademark Doobie Brothers. That was not a hit, but radio stations did play it. What were once habits are now... what were once vices are now habits came out after that. There we go. Having problems with my buttons again. That was 1974. It reached number 4, their highest charting at that point. Blackwater was the big hit on that one. And I was very happy for Patrick Simmons, who got a little recognition there. Because he's always been the glue to me in the Doobie Brothers. That kind of held things together when Tom Johnston left for a while because of health reasons for quite a while. Patrick Simmons was the guy who, to me, was the glue that was still remnants of the old Doobie Brothers. So Stampede. This time it was Keith Knudsen and John Hartman. Sweet Maxine was the single off that album. Also, Take Me in Your Arms, the old, of course, Motown hit was the hit on that album. Okay, let me get to the next one. There you go. Taking It to the Streets. It Keeps You Running, Wheels of Fortune on that album. This was a flop. I talked to Jeff Skunk Baxter recently, who was on that record, and he thought it was a really good record. I liked it, but it didn't really have a big hit. Unfortunately, I love the Transamerica building on the cover there and from San Francisco, but no hits. Where are we now? Okay, we're on A. There we go. And then came, da-da, Minute by Minute, number 1 in the U.S. I think that was it was their only number 1 album. Minute by Minute, 1978. What a Fool Believes Minute by Minute, the title song, and Depending on You, Pat Simmons. Thank you, Pat Simmons. And then they came back, and what was nice about Cycles, Tom Johnston was back, but Michael Hosack was back, hadn't been there for quite a few years, with John Hartman. And then they had, let me see, then of course Brotherhood and a few more projects after that. But, you know, we're talking major moments in time. Now, as mentioned, it's important for us to talk about, and it took me a little while to get this together. That's why I'm late on this story, but I wanted to report on it. Let me move over a little bit. Which Doobie Brothers are still around? Well, let's talk about the ones that are gone. That's a lot easier. Here he is. Oh, let me get rid of the last one. There we go. In 2012, Michael Hosack died of cancer in his home in Wyoming. He was 65 years old. March 12th, 2012. And Keith Knudsen died of pneumonia at a rehabilitation center in California at the age 56, February 8th, 2005. There's Chet McCracken. He died this year. I don't have a lot of details on his death at all. And he seemed to be a very private person if you go online and try to search him. Cornelius Bumpus died of a heart attack February 3rd, 2004, while he was on an airplane on a flight from New York to California. He was also involved with Steely Dan, of course. And last, Bobby LeKind. He died from terminal colon cancer December 24th at the age of 47. Don't have a lot of information on him either. There you go. What the heck? I was a drummer, and these drummers really, Keith Knudsen and John Hartman were influential in my life as far as drumming. You know, good old fashioned, no nonsense drumming. The trademark that they had, let me just open this up so I can read your comments. They had, after the first album, they had two drummers. Oh, I don't know where there's the comments. Okay, let me read them from the top. Heard this news yesterday. All their former drummers have passed on now. This is from Rick. Fenderman 73. Not really sure when he died. Rumor have been going around for quite a while. Rick, rest in peace. John Ed Dombrowski. Good evening, John. Have a great weekend. I'll listen to some Doobie Brothers tonight. Good idea. I should move this so I'm not that far away from the camera, which is over here. That would be an idea. Oops. Let me just do this again. I've got another screen. I have my laptop here, another screen here, and a screen over here. And like 6 lights surrounding me so I don't look like hell freezes over. DJH, Record Hound, Doobie Brothers, album cuts were hidden gems. So true. It was common for us in the 70s to say there's not a bad track on this album. There's not a bad track. By the way, the tropical storm Sophia is coming through here tonight. And we've gotten all our batteries and water, and just in case. It's the first time we're on the East Coast and in the winter we're going to get all those nor'easters. Let me get back to some comments. Thanks, DJH. Very true. Chris Snodgrass. I saw them at Clay Center in Charleston, West Virginia. Ronnie Parker. I remember the 1989 reunion. That video from them got a lot of airplay on MTV. Dennis Casto. The Doctor. Yes. The tune I was obsessed with when it was released. David Garrison, Redding. Peace sign. Hughie. The Doobie Brothers were a great band back in the 70s. Sorry to hear these dudes are leaving us. And Steve Becker, Jesus is just all right forever. Man, it was a great song, huh? Christopher Cruz, I like The Doctor myself. It's my Spotify. You know one of the songs I like from Patrick Simmons? I Can Read Your Mind. That song just kills me every time I hear it. I just love it. The way it comes in and the way that Patrick Simmons phrases. Listen to I Can Read Your Mind. Listen to his phrasing on that. It's just amazing. I've been asked many times, are you going to get the Doobie Brothers on here? I was trying during COVID, and then we've got to we got to get back on the horse and get them on here. But I want to thank everyone for coming on today. I mean, it means a lot to us when we get some people on and to talk about the heroes that we have lost It's such a weird thing. And like our video, I mean, you're not liking the death. You're basically liking the fact that we're reporting on it, and that we kind of care about such a great member of the Doobie Brothers, influential, like Patrick Simmons and Tom Johnston said. He was part of the personality of the band, and it was cool. There were several bands. There were a few bands, Allman Brothers, that would have two drummers, and I always liked that. And later with the Doobie Brothers, they had percussionists. I got to watch the time because in 1 hour we're coming on live with our live feed, Shannon and I. Do I know what the topic is? I do not know. But anyway, we don't have any more comments coming in. So please like our video, share our videos if you can. And John Hartman, wherever you are, you gave us an awful lot. It's John Beaudin. Join us in another hour for Friday Night Live. It's Rock History Music. Take care.